What's up, everybody? The Taxman is back with another best ball live stream. We're getting in the Basset Hounds, $2 to enter. These are filling very quickly. So if you want to get in them, now is the time. I got the third pick, which is just fantastic. Trying to see if I'm live right now. Yeah. So subscribe to the channel. We're going to be doing this. The big dog unfortunately filled.
I got the third.
So can't be doing any more big dogs. But yeah, subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button while you're here, while you're coming in. We're going to be taking Jamar Chase most likely. Well, Bijan Robinson's here for me, so happy to grab him. I'm still trying to figure out the pop-up chat and how to set that up. So if anyone can help me out there, shoot me a message. I'm trying to get it set up before the stream actually starts so I can, put the comments on the screen. I'm new to this, so just still trying to figure it all out. But I'll just, in the meantime, go to my phone and see if anybody has any questions. We got a few questions for the first time last time. They were dynasty questions. Happy to help out and however I can. But yeah, this tournament is filling. I mean, it just opened like today, and it's already 84% filled. It's $2 to enter. First place is 10,000. I do like the way it's set up. That's why it's filling so quickly. Because it's 4 out of 12, 1 out of 5, 1 out of 5. It's only a 376 final. The other ones that released today, I really don't like the format that much. Like this one, for example, is $6 to enter. It's a 992 seat final. And you win $20,000. So for me, it's like if I'm going to beat 992 people, I kind of want more than $20,000. That's just where I'm at with that. So I don't know if I'm going to do that one. So yeah, Bijan Robinson fell to me at the 3 slot, which, I don't blame this guy going Jamar Chase. Any game he could go off for like 50 points, win you a championship if it happens in week 17. Bijan helped me win and Derrick Henry last year. Or not win, but I came in second. In a big tournament, which was awesome. I'm going to go Nico Collins here. We got the news that Jaden Higgins unfortunately tore his ACL. And I'm not going to lie, I had a decent amount of him. I was expecting a year or two breakout. He was getting so much buzz as well. He scored 6 touchdowns his rookie season. So, I mean, I didn't have like too much of him, but I had enough that it's painful. He is definitely the guy that I've had the most of out of all like the injuries. I didn't have much of Ricky Pearsall. Um, I didn't have much of Jordan Tyson, but Jordan Tyson can still come back and help you when it matters in the playoffs. He seems like a really good talent. He just can't stay healthy. So Chris Olave for me, he's also a guy last year that he helped me win. He does play Bijan as well in week 17. So there's some correlation there if I want to take Chris Olave here. Ladd McConkey goes a little early. But don't mind that. He's getting unique with the Jahmyr Gibbs, Ladd McConkey. Yeah, I'm going to take Olave here. I'll show you the last. I did a big dog today. I got 14 of them in. I was trying to get 15 in, but it filled. But I kind of reached on my guys that I just wanted. Where is it here? The big dog. Okay, here it is. So I went Trevor Lawrence, ADP dip. Baker Mayfield, Malik Willis, also ADP dip. Bijan, David Montgomery, Junkins, Blake Corum, Jonah Coleman. So I really like my running backs. George Pickens, Olave, Jaden Reed, Courtland Sutton, Stribling, Naylor, and Ted Hurst. And then it's really going to come down to my tight ends having serviceable weeks for me. But honestly, Michael Mayer he scored a touchdown in the preseason game. Gunnar Helm's been getting some buzz, and Terrence Ferguson's been getting some buzz. But so I don't really mind the tight end room. But yeah, I like this team. Let's see if I'm almost back up on the clock. Yeah, I don't know how long I'm going to stream, but I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. So I might just keep doing this until that tournament fills. But you got people like I do it sometimes. I just get on my phone and do like 7 drafts at a time in these types of tournaments. Just because if you don't, like, you're not going to get the volume that you really need to have a legit shot of winning. I really like David Montgomery this year. Like, people say he's old, but he's only 29, and he was at Detroit sharing a backfield with Gibbs, so he wasn't like receiving a crazy amount of touches each week. So I like him in that Houston offense. Joe Mixon, when Joe Mixon was there, kind of tore it up in Houston. They have a good defense, so they could lean on the run quite a bit. I mean, Higgins also goes down today with an ACL injury, so it's just, all the guys there are going to be getting more work unless they bring in another wide receiver. But that's why even before this news, I liked Jalen Noel for Houston just because I think he's talented and he can win downfield. So I was taking him a decent amount, but then he was injured for a while, but I should have just kept hammering him because it was like a pinky. But he's back on the menu for sure. I'm going to keep drafting him in the later rounds. And then Tank Dell as well, but I prefer Jalen Noel, to be honest. But I've seen Tank Dell running some routes, and he does look pretty quick. So that will be interesting to see if he can get back to like what he was. But I just think it's going to be super hard for a player. Like he's the type of player that relies on his speed and his agility. So I don't know. I mix him in, but not too much. I might go ahead and just get in another one because, like I said, this draft's gonna fill. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just get in one more and just bounce back and forth between the two. Like, look how quick these fill. Every single time I get in one, they're like 9 or 10 filled. So if I take Mike Evans, I'll have a bunch of guys on week 8 bye week. So I like DJ Moore just as much, and DJ Moore has less of injury concerns. So I'm fine with taking DJ Moore. I could also take Tootin. I'm not super high on Tootin though, but their pass catching back did go down with an injury. He should be receiving the receiving work. He did score 7 touchdowns last year. Yeah, I'm going to take Tootin. I'm fine with him in a running back room like this where I don't really need him on a weekly basis. And he's fast and catches passes, so he should be having spike weeks at least. I just think he's going to be a bit inconsistent. Oh, nice. I can build another Bijan Robinson team. I like when this happens when I'm in these like volume drafts when I'm doing them and I, get the same pick because then I can just build a different type of team at the same time. Because I'm basically now building 2 Bijan Robinson teams. This guy's doing a bully tight end. I do like mixing this in. I did a bully tight end in a big dog with Brock Bowers and Colston Loveland, and I really like how that team turned out as well. He pairs it up with Lamar Jackson too, so he's really hammering the onesie positions. But he's got 2 anchors with Jonathan Taylor and AJ Brown, so I don't mind it. I was really hoping Luther Burden would fall a lot further with the injury, but he really, he did fall a little bit, I would say. Like sometimes he goes around this area, but I was hoping he was going to fall like deep into the 5th. I did suffer the Jaden Higgins ACL, unfortunately, but I will say a lot of the guys that I would have like highest exposure to, like I have highest exposure to Stribling, and I was picking him up in like, I was trying to pick him up in every draft in like the 15th round, and now he goes in like the 10th. And in hindsight, I wish I would have just reached on him every single time. But it's just risky because, injuries can happen. You don't want too much exposure to one player just because you never know when an injury's coming. Joe Burrow's here, Caleb Williams, I'm going to build out this wide receiver room a little bit and get DK Metcalf. Could keep building out the wide receiver room. Pass up on these quarterbacks. I do like DK Metcalf as just like a guy. He's shown he can stay healthy. He'll have his spike week. So he's just a guy that's just, in my opinion, reliable. And the reason I like him over Michael Pittman, like I take him, is just because it's best ball. Like Michael Pittman might be better in redraft, but in best ball, give me DK Metcalf for the long touchdown catches. So I could start it out exactly how I did the last one. And then mix up my other picks. But if George Pickens falls to me here, I'm going to take George Pickens. If not, I'm going to do it and get the same exact start. This is when it's harder, when you're on the clock in both. Yeah, I'll take George Pickens here. Got him. In the nick of time. Let's go. But I would have been fine with Chris Olave there as well. But yeah, when you're doing these drafts, not on your phone, multiple, it's much more difficult when you're on the clock at the same time. Let's go back to this one. So yeah, right now I got 3 running backs, 4 wide receivers. I could look to pair up Jaden Reed with Jordan Love, Chris Olave with Shook. And then I also have the option of like, maybe if Trevor Lawrence makes it back to me, I could do that with Tootin and then backstack him. I have a lot of possibilities with these quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence goes. I've noticed in the big dog, like Trevor Lawrence falls so far. I got him at 103 in a big dog. I guess some of those guys aren't as big on Trevor Lawrence. There's been like a decent amount of injuries on the LA Chargers offensive line, this is what the problem was last year. But I do feel like with Mike McDaniel there, they plan to get the ball out so quickly that hopefully they can figure it out on the offensive line. There was also a clip of Amarian Hampton just completely running over at joint practice one of the San Francisco defenders. And I do have him in 2 big dogs because I wanted to get him because I didn't take him much in like BBM and the puppy and stuff. It's just his price for me. I do think he's going to be a good best ball player, but they plan on using multiple running backs. But in best ball, where you don't have to pick and choose where you're going to start him, I think he's a fine pick. I just wish he was going in this range. Let's put some people in the queue. Dang it. I wanted Blake Corum. I'll take Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce is a pretty good best ball pick. I don't need him until week. I need him in the playoffs, especially with this deep wide receiver room. I'll be fine without him at the beginning of the year if he doesn't play. None of these quarterbacks stack with my guys, but I could take Jackson Dart with his rushing upside. Yeah, I'll take one of these quarterbacks for sure. So I'm going to go to the other draft. Colson Loveland, one of my favorite picks in this part of the draft. I just think that Chicago offense is going to be funneling a few guys, Colson Loveland, Luther Burden, and Rome Undunze. Like, I think they're going to be receiving most of the work. And I think Colson Loveland could legitimately be the number one option there. I could pair him up with Luther Burden. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Get some correlation here with the offense that I just like. And this is just a phenomenal top 3 wide receiver room. Let's see what quarterback I got. Okay, cool. I ended up getting Dart. I'm fine with it. He's not stacked, but he's got rushing upside. I really like his week 17 matchup against the Cowboys. Malik Neighbors also seems like he's just about ready for week 1, which is great. They bring in Najee Harris as well, another running back that, can open up play action. And I'm just high on Dart this year. He's shown he can get spike weeks as well, which is perfect for best ball. But I will be doing a 3 quarterback room for sure, since I waited so long. So this guy doesn't have a quarterback yet. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be taking a quarterback here when it comes back, so he doesn't like take 2 and then screws me over. Let's put some guys in the queue. Hopefully one of Jordan Love might be here for me, Baker Mayfield. Yeah, I'm fine with all these guys. Would like to stack Jordan Love with Jaden Reed would be nice. Let's go check on the other draft. Typically, I would only do 1 draft, but like I said, I'm trying to get a decent amount of volume in this before it closes. But I just wanted to do a live stream as well. Trying to, get better at the streaming stuff and gain a bigger following so we can, start doing drafts together. Bounce ideas off each other and win some money. The ultimate goal, winning a championship. And this looks like a team that could do it. Could definitely get Caleb Williams here with Luther Burden and Colston Loveland. A lot of guys are taking running backs early in this one. So I'm on the clock on the other one. And I'm going to take Jordan Love from my phone so I don't got to switch back and forth. Yeah, I'll take Caleb Williams here, although it pains me to take him over Joe Burrow, but I need the stacks. I'm a Bengals fan, so just high on Joe Burrow. But it's really like in these big tournaments, if you don't have Chase or T. Higgins or, it's hard to take Joe Burrow because you really need those stacks to beat the other guys that have Joe Burrow stacked with, because he's not like a big rushing quarterback. I'll take Tony Pollard here. Don't love the pick, but I need some running backs with this room. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and get my third quarterback. And I have Chris Olave on this team, so really happy to get two quarterbacks here. Now my quarterback room is very strong in my opinion. Shuck stacks with Olave. Love stacks with Jaden Reed. And then I can look to maybe get if Isaiah Likely falls, and then he'll stack with Dart. Also, Malachi Fields, I could backstack him in like one of the last picks. The New Orleans Saints, too, have a phenomenal playoff schedule. Keaton Mitchell off the board. I like this pick. I've been trying to get more exposure to Keaton Mitchell, honestly. Much rather would have him than like the guys that go around him. Although Aaron Jones, I like what this guy did. He took Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason, and they have the Jets in week 17, which is just a great matchup. That's the only reason I take these guys, is because of that week 17 matchup. Isaiah Likely goes. Let's see. We're getting close to our next pick. Really like this team. I have a really deep wide receiver room. I don't really like the fact that Najee Harris signed with the New York Giants, so I won't be taking Tyron Tracy. I do like Jonah Coleman. I don't have a tight end yet, so could look to stack Juwan Johnson. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do that because these guys don't have tight ends behind me either. Come on, make your pick, dude. You need a tight end. Just grab Strange. Time's out. Oh, he takes Jonah Coleman. Bastard. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get Brenton Strange then. Go to the other one. I need to adjust my ranks to get this Jordan Tyson out of here. Yeah, I'll take Cortland Sutton. Could take another Alec Pierce, but I do need running backs. J.K. Dobbins. Chuba Hubbard. I don't take a lot of Chuba Hubbard, and I really don't like Chuba Hubbard with Tony Pollard. They're both kind of like meh running backs. Could just completely reach and take Keaton Mitchell. Would he make it back to me? No, he'll probably make it back to me. Could take Kenny Gainwell. Oh, actually, I'll just do an ultimate stack and take another Chicago piece with my Caleb Williams, Luther Burden, and Colston Loveland. In these big tournaments, you want to be mixing some teams in that where you just have, crazy amounts of stacks. Because the thought process is like the Bears just catch fire in week 15, 16, and 17, and they're good throughout the season. And this is exactly what New England was last year. And Like, say Kyle Monungai goes off week 15, and then also Caleb Williams goes off week 15, and then week 15 or week 16, Caleb Williams and Luther Burden just go off. And then in week 17, Caleb Williams throws 5 touchdowns, 2 to Luther Burden, 2 to Colston Loveland, and 1 to Roman Dunze. But yeah, we saw this with the New England Patriots last year, and they won people championships. And if you had like both the running backs, Drake May, Stephon Diggs, you won. So it looks like I'm already on the clock on the other one, which is good because now they're spread out a bit. So yeah, I'm going to get Terrence Ferguson there. I really like him to add to this tight end room. Could just take another tight end. I do have a lot of pieces of Houston, so I could take Dalton Schultz. Let's look at the running backs as well. Don't really love any of these running backs. And my running back room is like relatively strong. I'm going to go ahead and take Cyrus Allen. Honestly, I could be done at wide receiver now if I wanted to. I only have 6. I'll probably take one more. I really don't like building 6 wide receiver teams, but it can work. Up in 2 picks. Keaton Mitchell's still here for me. I probably will reach him. Like I said, I've been wanting to up my exposure to him. I just think he fits really well in the Chargers offense and what they're trying to do. They do like outside runs a lot, like, and that's his. If you go watch his highlights on YouTube, his entire highlight film is him getting the ball outside and then running for like 30 yards. And he also has like an underrated catching ability that he really just didn't get to show off in Baltimore. I do like Romeo Dobbs as well. Drake May, is throwing him the ball. But Alec Pierce is still here. And he has fallen quite a bit. So yeah, I'll take Alec Pierce. Like, I'm just getting a huge ADP dip on him. So don't think I can pass that up. And this room as well, like, I don't need him until the end of the season. I did pass up on a lot of good quarterbacks there, but I do believe in Caleb Williams, so I'm cool with it. So yeah, this team is really good. Let's go. Drafting shippers. Last year as well, I was in the finals of the Chow Chow, and I had 3 quarterbacks on my final team, and if one of them would have been Drake May, I would have won. I came in 6th, which I still cashed out a decent amount, but it was just kind of painful looking back at it. And I had like Joe Burrow, who scored like 20 points week 17. I forget the other 2, but yeah, if I would have had Drake May or like Brock Purdy even went off that week. So yeah, I'll go ahead and get Malachi Fields as my last wide receiver to stack with Jackson Dart. Hmm. Yeah, I'll add another. How many more picks are left? Okay, cool. I got 2 picks left. So I'm going to take a tight end and a running back. Let's see these tight ends here. So yeah, I just went with Pat Fryermuth. I put Michael Mayer in the queue, but which I do like his chances of scoring a decent amount of touchdowns this year. He scored a touchdown in the preseason. And if you haven't seen it, you should go look it up because it was pretty sick, honestly. And it was from Kirk Cousins. So that's the first team offense. They just should be running a lot of 2 tight end sets. So he's going to be on the field running routes. Defenses are obviously going to key in on Brock Bowers, which will just open up opportunities for him. This guy took 4 quarterbacks. So I'm definitely going to need to be taking maybe even 2 quarterbacks here and have to reach on them. Because when someone does this, it's just like, yeah, like everyone's taking their quarterbacks now. This guy's got 1 quarterback. So if I don't take quarterbacks here, he's going to. This guy has 1 quarterback. We got a guy with 4. We got a guy with 3. Hopefully CJ Stroud falls. That'd be phenomenal. I might just go CJ Stroud and stop at 2. And like in a big dog or something, I wouldn't do this because I'm not super high on CJ Stroud. Like I would take CJ Stroud, but I wouldn't stop at 2. But in a tournament like this where it's $2 and I'm trying to come in first place, like stopping at 2, it gives you like if CJ Stroud if both these quarterbacks crush it, which is a possibility, he could get better. Then I just increase my chances of actually winning the tournament. I took Brenton Strange there. Okay, I got Michael Mayer. So don't love it, but honestly, actually I kind of like it because those 4 running backs can carry me through. And if they do, like I said, just with the quarterbacks, like now I get to put extra players at those other positions. But yeah, I timed out there. Let's see. I want to recap that team. I'll recap the teams. Actually, I'll recap the teams at the end. Yeah, I probably will stop at 2 tight ends as well. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to stop at 2 tight ends, 2 quarterbacks, and just hammer the other positions. And honestly, like when I'm hammering the other positions, and I got guys like Bijan Robinson, and then my wide receiver room is just stacked. Like I could just absolutely hammer this running back room if I wanted to. I could do like a 2-7-7-2 or a 2-8-6-2. But I have 2 guys on by week 10. Yeah, I'll probably do a 2-7-7-2. Even though like these wide receivers are very good. see if I can find that team. I want to see what position I sacrificed for that last pick. Completed. It's a $2 tournament. This one. Oh yeah, I sacrificed a running back slot. But yeah, like I said, like these guys can actually carry me through. Like especially if David Montgomery, like I only need Bijan Robinson to be himself, and then I need one of these guys every week. And if something happens to Saquon, that's when this team can come in first. My wide receivers are super legit, and now I have a very deep tight end room. And I do like building out these 4 tight end rooms sometimes when you don't go one early because you're competing against tight ends like Brock Bowers and Trey McBride. So sometimes 3 just doesn't cut it. So yeah, I kind of like that mess up. And honestly, like when you're doing as much volume as I'm doing, like sometimes when it makes a pick for you, it's a good thing because you don't want to be I have my certain ways of drafting that it's hard to explain. Like I have a certain way of drafting, but sometimes drafting another way helps just naturally mix up the portfolio, if that makes sense. All right, I'm going to pair up Flournoy with George Pickens. Alvin Kamara's out for a month with a sprain in his knee. I'm going to go Caleb Douglas here. He is a 6'4" wide receiver that could just become the number 1 wide receiver in Miami. He could catch some garbage time points or long touchdown passes. I did like his film, so I'm happy to add him with my last wide receiver. And now I'll just take upside bets at running back with my last few picks. And then I'm going to hop in another draft. Once I put all these guys in the queue, I want to get more exposure to him, so I'm going to put him at the top. I do like doing this as well. Actually, I'm going to put him at the top because I have Keaton Mitchell. So this is basically like a bet that Hampton doesn't pan out if I get both these guys on the same team. All right, I think that's good for now. I'm going to go get another draft. It is now 85% full. But yeah, I just started doing the streaming. Subscribe to the channel. We're going to be doing best ball, going over teams throughout the season, helping you win some money. Like I said, this is my 3rd year doing best ball. The first year I came in 7th place in a tournament, and I didn't really max out any tournaments. But then once I won some money, I started maxing out a few tournaments. Last year, like I said, I almost won the Chow Chow, came in 6th. And then I came in 2nd in the Badge Bros, which is like the only one I maxed out. So that was a good prize. So then this year I started getting more serious with it, seeing how much money you can actually win. Isaiah Pacheco, I don't think I have any teams with him on it besides a team where I accidentally timed out and he got autoed, which I need to go into my rankings and just put these guys at the bottom. But usually I don't, time out. It's happened like twice. So yeah, I'll take Vidal here. And then whichever of these guys, they're in my queue, so they'll get drafted. So JSN falls to me here at 6. This guy decided to take Christian McCaffrey over him. I'm in a lot of these drafts with this Nez guy, I feel like. What does this blue badge mean? I wonder. I don't know. A lot of drafts, that's for sure. Kenneth Walker goes in the first round. I do like the Kenneth Walker pick for upside, but he's a guy that we've just haven't seen it. He's yet to last an entire season. That's why I like the Emmett Johnson pick in the last few rounds. And I actually have a decent amount of Emmett Johnson. When I watched his highlights on YouTube, him and Coleman were my two favorite running backs. And then he looked really good in the preseason game the other day as well. I might get unique with this one and like pull up a George Pickens. That's what this guy just did. He got unique a little bit, which in these tournaments you want to be getting unique. And usually George Pickens, goes right in this area. But it is hard to pass up on A.J. Brown, I will say. But it's a $2 tournament. You never know when these guys are going to go off in a particular week. Like A.J. Brown, I do think is going to just have a better season, but like George Pickens could just be better in week 17, which is where the money's made. So and then hopefully there's not a lot of JSN George Pickens teams. I think I have 5 more BBMs to do, which is sad. Big Dog Field, BBM. I'm about to be out of entries. And then they just released some tournaments that I'm not a big fan of, to be honest, the structure. I could do some more on DraftKings. That's the thing about DraftKings that I wish I would have done more at the beginning of the best ball season, because you get 2 extra picks. So like you can really get value if some rookies that you're just high on. Like I was high on Stribling, I was high on Noel, and now Noel has he's not a rookie, but he's got a big opportunity now that Higgins got injured. I was high on the Baltimore receivers, and Jacoby Lane is now looking really good. All right, I'm on the clock here. Jeremiah loves dealing with an injury. I'm going to take Ladd. I watch Jerry on stream. If you don't follow him, you should look him up because he's got good vibes. I just like listening to him, and he calls this a estrogen starts. This is a high T start. I was listening to him and I went through wide receivers and I heard him say that. I was like, what? But then I understood what he was talking about. This guy's high on his estrogen as well. Nez, which I know I draft with him a lot, like I said. Igbuka goes. This is a guy I haven't taken a lot of, to be honest with you, which I still am worried about it because I know he's a good player. One, I don't love the week 17 matchup for the Rams against the Rams for Tampa Bay. Also, he's injured now, but I still wasn't taking him before that. I just prefer other guys in this range. But he as well, he got injured last year. When he came back, he wasn't particularly good. I feel like Tampa Bay could spread the ball around a lot. And I don't know. I just get this feeling that I'm dodging him. I mean, I have a few shares, but. And Tet is another guy that I haven't taken a lot of. His quarterback, it's not ideal. Could go Cam Scatterboo here. I will. So I'm taking Cam Scatterboo here. I don't have a running back yet, and he plays George Pickens in week 17. So like to get that correlation there. And if Cam Scatterboo's healthy, it's a risky pick because of his injury concern. But if he's healthy, I think he's going to have a really good season. They've shown that they want to run the ball. They brought in a fullback with the new coaching staff. They signed some new pieces to the offensive line. And there was an interview with Dart as well where he just basically said that they're going to run the ball a lot, which makes sense. I mean, they have Cam Scatterboo. Dart likes to run himself. Now they bring in Najee Harris. And they really only have Malik Neighbors. All right, I'll take Bucky here. I need running backs. And this is an end of a tier for me. Like I said, I don't love the week 17 matchup against the Rams, but they do have good week 15 and 16 matchup. I'll pull that up. Parker Washington will be a very interesting to see what happens with him this season because there's been a lot of guys online that are either like die-hard Parker Washington guys or, they think he's overrated. I've been taking Parker Washington. I saw what he did last year. I'm not like when he falls to me, I take him. I have reached on him a few times, but he showed out last year. He's clearly got a connection with Trevor Lawrence. So yeah, here's the week. Here's the playoff schedule. Tampa Bay has New Orleans and Atlanta, and then the Rams. So, like those first two matchups of New Orleans and Atlanta. Atlanta in a dome. So definitely will be taking Marvin Harrison if he falls here. Dang it. I'll take. Do I want any stacks here? No. I'm going to take Warren. So yeah, I'm just going to keep building out this running back room because I went 3 early wide receivers. And now what I could do too, which I will do, is if Rico Dowdle makes it back to me, I'm going to pair him up with Jaylen Warren. And then every time Pittsburgh running back has a good game, my team benefits. Although I could also take Justin Herbert with Ladd, or if Dak falls, actually, I'm going to be taking Dak. So yeah, not doing that actually. Need to get my stacks in. I need to sneeze. Excuse me. Sorry. All right. Coming back up on the clock. Dak's still here. I'll definitely be taking Dak to stack with George Pickens and get the correlation with Cam. So all these teams are pretty balanced. Besides this one. Still has 0 running backs. Nez. He's got really good wide receivers. So if I want to take some more running backs, which if one running back falls to me here, I definitely will take him. Especially because I don't want Nez to get him because I think he's going to have a good season. And I need running backs as well. And at the end of the day, I'm trying to advance out of this pod, so I don't want him to get good running backs because he's got really good wide receivers. Joe Burrow, Tucker Kraft. He's built a nice 0 RB build team here. So yeah, I really hope he doesn't get either one of these running backs. RJ Harvey goes. Sam Laporta goes. Blake Corum goes. Okay. A lot of those guys are the guys I wanted. Michael Wilson's here, which I don't take a lot of him. So I'm going to go ahead and get a piece of him here. He has a good playoff schedule with the New York Jets, New Orleans, and then the Las Vegas Raiders. He still hasn't taken a running back. Jordan Tyson off the board. Too early, in my opinion. He takes 2 injured rookies. I wouldn't suggest doing that. But he does have Jahmyr Gibbs, who could just absolutely crush. He also does have 3 good wide receivers, so could work out for him, but I wouldn't do it. Dang it, I was going to take Brock Purdy there. Kyle Pitts, Kyle Monunga, Matthew Golden. You know, I haven't got a lot of Matthew Golden either, which I think he could have a good season because he should be just receiving a much better opportunity, being on the field more in an offense that's efficient. And now I get another opportunity for a stack, which I don't love their Week 17 matchup against Houston, but they do get Miami, Chicago before that. So that those 2 matchups are good. So yeah, Green Bay and say if I get Jordan Love, they could go off the first 2 weeks, and then Dak Prescott could go off against the New York Giants, throwing 3 touchdowns to George Pickens, and then I win the Hound tournament. Is the thought process. I don't know if I'm going to make it through this whole stream. It's 1 a.m. here, and I just need to kind of lay down, but I'll try to get as far as I can. I don't have any tight ends, so if Kyle Pitts falls here, I'll take him as an ADP faller. Kyle Monunga is falling pretty far. And I do need running backs as well. So that's not a bad pick. I also don't have a lot of exposure to him. But my guy is here. So I don't really like Kyle Monunga as a best ball pick. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and get my guy Stribling. Really happy to add him to this dominant wide receiver room. And then since I didn't do it last time, I'm going to stop at 6 here. I'm very confident in all of these guys. And it's just, and if you're doing volume, you need to be mixing up the structures that you do and the players that you're taking. Like I said, I don't have a lot of Michael Wilson. I don't have a lot of Matthew Golden, but I mix them in. And same thing with the structure. You should be mixing in 6 wide receiver rooms or 4 running back rooms, 2 quarterback room, 3 quarterback room, 3 tight end room, 2 tight end room, 4 tight end room, 9 wide receiver room. Like, you got to be mixing them in. So yeah, definitely we'll be taking Baker here if he falls to me, because I will get the stack with Bucky. Or Jordan Love, actually. Didn't see him, because I'll get the stack with Matthew Golden. I think I took Jordan Love on my last team, though. So I kind of want to take Baker. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just take Baker. I like him for spike weeks more than Jordan Love, to be honest. But I think they're both good options, you know. But all right, I'm going to do the rest on my phone. I need to go lay down. Thanks for joining, y'all. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Sorry I couldn't finish it, but I'll be back for more soon. Until next time, y'all have a good night.